to go to Paris. I hear that the French people are really rude and they hate Americans, so I will totally fit right in there.
Roseanne.
Yeah, I know, that's stupid. But what about England or, Italy or China or even Canada? But not Canada because we can already buy their bacon here. I know. I've got it. There's someplace we could go to see all of these places at once.
International House of Pancakes.
No, but I'll give you 2 hints. Florida and the happiest place on earth.
We're going to Gator World.
No, you idiot. Disneyworld. It's perfect because they have that Epcot Center thing, okay? So, say you're in Italy and you get really bored, you just walk right over to China, okay? I know, for real, that in the real world, that would actually take days.
You can't blow my hard-earned cash on a vacation.
I hear they have something called a beer garden.
Hot
dog! It'd be so great. We'll take the whole family.
Oh. Them.
No, think about it, Dan. Becky's applying for college, and Darlene's going to be graduating soon. This is probably the last chance we will ever get for a family vacation.
Well, we could sleep on it, I guess. And...
Hey, everybody! Cancel next week. We're going to Disney World!
And discuss it in the morning.
Welcome back, patrons.
Welcome back, patrons.
We're here. We made it just under the line.
Yeah. We always come in clutch with the Patreon episodes. They're always at end of month thing.
Yeah.
So it's actually like the beginning of next month if you're really going to be breaking it down.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, you always know that
you
always get the Patreon episodes at the very end of the month.
Yes, indeed. And here we are with another one.
We have a really fun one that we've never done a Patreon episode quite like this. We are talking about 5 TV shows today.
We sure are.
We're going to try to power through all of them.
Yep.
I mean, this is probably going to be one of the only chances we'll get to talk about some of these shows on the Patreon. So kind of a fun opportunity to do it with.
Yes, indeed. Well, listeners, patrons, my name is Pete.
And I'm Scott.
And these are the TV shows that keep us gay.
We're going to Disney World.
We are. We're going to Disney World quite a few times.
Yeah.
And we've been to Disney World ourselves. So
most of these episodes are called We're Going to Disney World.
Yes, this is true.
That's how autopilot some of these are.
Yeah.
That they can't even bother to create actual original names.
No, these writers are they're all on vacation. The whole show.
Oh, I think that they brought in
like
somebody from a temp agency.
Yeah.
That was just looking for work.
For sure. But we are here with TGIF Goes to Disney World. We've got your ABC favorites.
Not quite TGIF because Roseanne was not TGIF. But ABC sitcoms go to Disney World. I'm assuming that it's only an ABC thing.
I mean, other shows like Sabrina and Blossom, but those are, I think, somehow... Well, Blossom was NBC, and that's a Warner Brothers show.
Wait a minute, wasn't Sabrina TGIF?
Oh, I thought it was on CBS.
No, it was TGIF.
Did she switch channels?
Maybe.
Who
Maybe
knows?
It did towards the end.
But you're right. I think it was on there. But Blossom wasn't. She went to Disneyland.
Was Blossom Sunday night?
Oh, God, don't make me.
I don't think Blossom was Friday.
Figure that one out. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are talking about our favorite filler episodes of sitcoms is where they bring the cast to
Disney World.
To Disney World or Disneyland.
Did any of them that we're talking about today
Blossom,
go to Disney World?
well,
Disneyland?
We're not talking about Blossom
we're not
today.
talking about Blossom.
But Blossom went to Disneyland.
Yes.
Because Blossom was that cool of a show that it's only being local.
Not that cool.
But it's like, but I think that's like probably what the cool writers of Blossom
they were like,
would have thought is that Blossom
in
is a SoCal local, so she will be going to Disneyland.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, at least the shows that we talk about today go to Disney World in Orlando. In Florida.
You're right. It's all of them.
Mm-hmm. And we're definitely going to have a ranking system, and we have kind of decided that when these sitcom families go to Disney World, it's generally the worst episode of their entire run. But of these, we're going to be ranking the best and starting with the best, right? And then just through.
I think we're going to save the best to last.
Okay. All right.
Because I think that we're both in agreement of what the best is. So let's talk about that at the end.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of get into the other ones before.
Sounds good.
But to kind of set the table for this episode,
yes.
Pete and I are casual Disney adults. Not even a full Disney adult. That's like a whole thing.
Okay.
I think when you're really classifying a Disney adult,
right,
they have the passes.
Right.
And they will have the top tier pass that gets you in on the busiest day of the year, too. So
we're talking thousands of dollars.
You're fully doing like a Mercedes payment a month.
Yeah, we're talking $1,000 invested into this annual pass, which we're at the point in our Disney fandom where we're lucky enough to be friends with some cast members who graciously offer us a day, maybe once a year or so, to accompany them. And we'll take them up on that.
And the times that we have
that's
done
that.
Disney, that we did Disney World back in 2021.
We did our own vacation.
We did our
just
own
the two of us
vacation, just the two of us at Disney World. We'd always talked about it.
I think to some people that definitely counts as some Disney adult shit. Right there, where the two of us
like
took
I said,
a trip
there are tiers.
Orlando,
I think of being a Disney adult,
right. But at this point, on this day of our Lord in 2025, we are not annual pass holders. We have not paid for an admission for quite a few, probably since our trip. Have we paid for an admission?
I was going to say, do you remember we had annual passes in 2019 going into 2020?
Right.
So. Like, I remember getting
we got refunded.
Yeah. And one of Moran and I's last hurrahs was we went to Disney World. We went to Disneyland early March
the week
of
before
2020.
Yeah.
And we joke that was like our last hurrah.
Yeah. And I didn't go because I was like, all right, fine. We did the whole Galaxy's Edge, Rise of Resistance, virtual queue, getting there at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was kind of the
early days of it.
That was the early days of it. That was probably February of 2020.
Yep.
When we did that. And we had passes, and then once they went into lockdown and closed down, they continued charging people.
Mm-hmm. Well, because that was when they thought that it would only be like a month.
Right. And I think that we actually did go in and cancel it, and I think that they still refunded us like something like I think we got like $90 a piece.
I don't think we even
worth.
Officially canceled it. I think they just refunded it.
Sure. But I think we only got 3 months worth of payments.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a lot.
And also we were one of the tacky Americans that go to London and we take the train into Paris, and we just went to Disneyland Paris.
I mean, we saw Paris, but we also were like, hey, we're here. It's cheaper than Disneyland America.
I tell friends of mine that if you ever want a Disney vacation and go to Europe, just go to Disneyland Paris.
If you have a family.
Especially a family.
If you have a family with children going to Disneyland, especially in California, will bankrupt you.
And you can take the train there in Paris.
You can go to Europe. You can even go to China and probably spend less on the entire trip out of pocket, traveling internationally than you could going to. I do recommend Disney World in Orlando. Yeah. I love it.
It's a fun experience.
Magical. I think it is completely worth it. I think the entire family, there's something for everyone there. And it is actually more cost effective than coming to Disneyland Park in Anaheim, in California. But there's something to be said for Disneyland Paris. It is locked in the 90s. Mm-hmm. It feels like not much has changed.
We had a great time, and I feel like
it was
now that we've gone, I don't ever think I need to go back.
Yeah, we're good.
when we go back to France or
I'll go back to Paris, but
London,
I don't think I need
Paris,
to be like, let's go to
I don't think I
Euro
need to go
Disney
back
again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so we're subtle Disney gays, Disney adults. We have some really cool pictures from the times that we've gone. We've got pictures with, Darth Vader and Thor and Chewbacca, but
Elsa.
We're not exactly like going to those paid after hours events that are like a full cost of admission, but they're only like 3 hours because they're like in the dead of night. Like,
I
don't need to be doing all
Disney gays that are there every single week.
Yeah, I don't get that shit.
Every week.
I don't get it.
How do they do it?
I mean, there's also like Palm Springs gays, and I'm like, do you have a job?
Yeah.
How are you just on vacation always? Some of these people on Instagram are always on vacation. I don't get it. But some people choose to spend their time in Palm Springs and Fire Island and San Francisco. Others go to Disney.
Yeah.
And others have to go to work and make a podcast about it. So, that being said, we know our way around these parks. Mm-hmm. And
so it's why it's kind of fun to revisit all of these episodes.
Right.
Because all time and logic is out the window.
Yes. Well, okay. First of all, these are all from 90s sitcoms, TGIF, and
which I love seeing Disneyland and Disney World in the 90s.
Time capsule of Disneyland,
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Of Disney World in the 90s. That is so cool because that was really peak era. That was when you could. My friends and I, being in LA when we were in college, in like the early 2000s, as college kids with like retail jobs, living at home, were able to just get annual passes.
Passes were like Passes were like $300 probably.
Yeah, California residents, get out of here. It was so cheap. So, and we would just go to, and we could, and it wasn't like. I have memories of being on rides and just like no line, and the ride operator is just like, "You guys want to go again?" Yes, and they just start the ride up again.
You're like Bart and Lisa when they're on the itchy and scratchy log fume ride.
We did Splash Mountain, and we decided we're going to do a fun pose. And we must have done it 4 or 5 times because we weren't happy with the pose until we got it absolutely right. And we would just get off, go right back around. They didn't let us just go again. They had us get off, but we were able to just get off the exit, go right back in, and go right up to the front. Mm. And it was so empty that the 4 of us had one whole log to ourselves, just 4 of us. But this was like probably like 98, 99. So there's no social media or anything. So it was just us. We were like, hey, wouldn't it be funny to do this?
Yeah.
So it was in the days before people took like chess sets and like a microwave and like PlayStation and all that
Tops
stuff.
Coming off.
Yeah.
Well, I always see those sometimes.
Well, those are coming at you from Disney employees because those go right to the vault.
Yep.
They do not sell those to you. So, yeah, we know our way around Disneyland and Disney World, and rewatching these is always a lot of fun. Sometimes they're a bit of a chore, but in the long run, they're fun episodes. And they're all on streaming.
Yeah, they're all on streaming, except Blossom. You have to buy that.
Right, and that's why we're not talking about it.
We talked about that on our Blossom episode. Yeah.
And it's one of the few episodes that's only one. Sabrina and Blossom.
One of them that we're talking about is only one episode. Okay. But let's get into it. Mm-hmm. So we are starting ABC Goes to Disney World. We're going to talk about Step by Step. From Season 5, Episode 22, episode title, We're Going to Disney World. Episode air date, May 3rd, 1996.
Step by step, man.
Step by step. One of those fucking credits, by the way. Like, all of these credits of these sitcoms are unhinged, but there's something about the step by step one.
Yeah.
That just really does it for me.
Well, the step by step intro theme song. They're in a theme park.
Yeah.
They're at Magic Mountain. Well, they're not really at Magic Mountain.
This is just America's theme park.
Yeah.
America's nondescript theme park.
Yeah.
That is not a Six Flags.
No, yeah. Step by Step. I didn't watch it.
I casually watched Step by Step, but here's my thing about Step by Step.
Yeah.
Is that... But here's the thing about Step by Step. is at least with Full House, I can tell you all of the characters'
Yes,
names
yeah.
and character traits. I
Yeah.
can tell you episodes.
Yeah.
I definitely watched Step by Step back in the day. I don't think I could tell you one thing
the kids,
about this show.
Who's that? I don't know.
I think that
Who
I
is
could
she,
say
though? I
it's
don't
a
know.
blended family
Yeah.
of boys and girls, and there's like 20 of them.
I mean, it's a Brady Bunch ripoff.
It's a Brady
Let's
Bunch
be
ripoff.
real.
Yep.
It's a Brady Bunch ripoff. There's 3 boys and 3 girls, but they did a thing where it's like the dad had 2 boys and a girl, and the mom had 2 girls and a boy. And the mom's Suzanne Summers from Three's Company, and the dad, and she's a sheriff, and the dad's Patrick Duffy from Dallas.
Isn't Patrick Duffy from Dukes of Hazzard?
No,
No, I'm thinking of the Smallville dad.
he's from Dallas. He's from Who
Yeah,
Shot
okay.
JR.
Sure.
Because one of his things was in the shower, and like it was a big scandal that he was like all naked in the shower.
Was he naked on TV?
Well, no. I mean, there was network television.
Okay.
Didn't show anything.
I mean,
in the shower. Yeah. So he was from Dallas, and you know, I feel like to me, Step by Step, I was like, these kids are not that pretty.
yeah, it was a weird cast.
I mean, I know it's like, I'm not trying to be shady, but I was like, I don't know. Do they pick these kids up off the street? Like, who are they? What's going on?
I feel like
And they added more
I feel like I
characters.
only really remember the little nerdy kid with glasses.
Right. From the Torkelsons.
From the Torkelsons. No.
It's not the same kid. He
The
looks
kid
like
from
him.
the Torkelsons is on Boy Meets World.
Right. This kid is from Beethoven.
Yeah, Beethoven.
Yeah, he's from Beethoven. I know Stacey Keenan from My Two Dads.
Yeah.
I knew her from that.
Stacey Keenan, who looks very different in this episode. We'll talk about her styling later.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is later in the run of Step by Step. So these kids are
So this is
growing
season
up.
5.
They're all teenagers, even the youngest kids. The 2 youngest boys are like at least 13, 14. And everybody else is like way older. I think they make mention of the fact that Stacey Keenan and the oldest boy, well, the Stacey Keenan's character is 20.
What about the brunette that's the aspiring country star? She has a very nondescript age that I'm not really sure how old she is.
She looks older than Stacey Keenan.
And is
to
she
me.
one of Patrick Duffy's?
No, her and Stacey are sisters, and they're Suzanne Summers is his daughters, and then Suzanne Summers' son is the boy from Beethoven.
I mean, maybe
And then the other
maybe the dad was a
3
brunette.
are
I don't know.
Patrick Duffy's. He's got JT, the oldest boy, who's like dumb. The middle girl, who her whole thing growing up was she was like tomboyish, but now she's like grown out of it because it's like, you can't make a teenage girl still be a tomboy because she just looks like a lesbian. So just like, she's just a little tough.
And Sasha Mitchell,
And that's Christine Lakin.
who lives in the van down by the river
In their backyard.
in their backyard, was written off the show. And was this fairly early in him getting written off?
Yes.
Too?
Yeah. It was like, he's still in the credits.
He was
In this
He
episode.
went through a domestic abuse
Yes.
thing, right?
Situation.
Situation,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's still in the credits in this episode, but I don't think I know he came back later on, like the final few episodes, but he's gone at this point. But yeah, Sasha Mitchell's character, Cody, is a very
He was the classic
sitcom cliche
himbo.
No, he's a himbo for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a cliched sitcom character that he's not related to any of them. He's older than all of the other kids. Who is he? He's just there.
Well, I mean,
taking up space.
They replace him with someone else in this
who
episode
does
that we'll
the same
talk about.
thing. And he's just a wacky, kooky character that
He's
just
the-
says
he's
dumb
the Roy.
shit. He's Roy.
He's
you
the
know?
Roy from Simpsons.
Yeah. And he just says dumb shit. He's there. And the thing about Sasha Mitchell as Cody is that he's very hot.
Very cute.
He's a very hot guy. So I don't think a lot of people are like, get him out of here. And I think he had kind of like an antagonistic relationship with Stacey Keenan's character. But okay, how do they get each one of these shows has a crazy, wacky, like, we're going to go to Disney World. So got to get them there somehow.
So the grandma from Lost in Space
Oh my God.
gives them an advance on their inheritance which is very Grandpa Simpson.
Yes,
Is
they
when
actually did that. in
Grandpa
The Simpsons,
gives everyone all the money, and Lisa gets the Malibu Stacy doll.
yeah. So she's actually the mother from Lost in Space, June Lockhart, but she's
I just have her
grandmother
as-
on this show.
The grandma from Lost in
Yeah,
Space.
she's the mom from Lost in Space.
Yeah.
But on this show, she's the grandma because it's 20 years later. But June Lockhart shows up. And apparently she's Patrick Duffy's mother, I think, on the show, but we didn't really watch that much. So she waltzes in the door at the beginning of the episode, and she's just like, hey, guess what, everybody? I'm giving you your inheritance early, but I have decided that I'm not going to give you cash. We are taking a trip. And everybody's going to Disney World.
We'll see how
including your adult
We'll
children.
see how everyone feels about that when Grandma does pass on.
This show also suffers from another sitcom cliche in that the main children, who were young, cute, precocious kids when the show started, have now grown into average-looking teenagers. So what do? They knock up the 50-year-old mom.
Oh, that's right.
And so Suzanne Summers has a fresh baby.
Yeah. That always stresses me out whenever we see babies at Disney.
Well, yeah.
Couldn't be me if I was a young mom.
Yeah.
Is bringing my infant to Disney World? No.
I think toddlers, if they can walk, they can get on rides, they can experience the magic and the joy and all that. But if they're a baby, get out of here. They're not going to remember any of this.
Think of all those germs.
They're not going to remember any of this. They're all the germs. Somebody's going to snatch that kid. They can fall out of that stroller. All that. I don't know. I feel like they can wait.
So we actually have two Roys in this episode.
Yes.
Because our boy...
only one in the episode because Sasha's only in the credits.
We also have...
But we have...
Jason Marsden.
Oh, Jason Marsden!
Because we have the kid.
Sure.
I don't even have what his name is. I don't know what the actual,
The character's name is... I forget his first name. It's something. And his last name is Gordon. So they call him Flash.
Flash, that's so stupid.
But the thing is, the Flash character, according to IMDb, only has a handful of episodes.
And he's treated...
4.
And he's treated in this episode like he's fucking Kramer.
Right.
Too.
Or like a Kimmy Gibbler, Kramer, kind of like... there's Flash again. And it's meanwhile, I think this is his second episode.
And I'm assuming that Jason Marsden has a pretty decent arc on Step by Step.
Yes,
because
he
they're
does.
going into...
He was JT's best friend for years. And then I think he eventually gets paired off with Dana, with Stacey Keenan's character. Mister, I don't know anything about this show.
I was going to say,
shit.
good pull on the character names because
I have it up right
I do
here.
not think I could name anybody's name.
I just know
on the show.
JT and Dana. The other kids, I'm lost. Yeah. AJ is the middle girl, the lesbian.
But yeah, we love Jason Marsden, sold his soul to Disney at this time, and
Jason
he was
Marsden
in everything.
did the Lord's work in the 90s. We're talking Max Goof. We're talking Thackeray Binks. Some solid voice work. We love a short king.
Yeah.
Good-looking kid.
Teeny
He's
little
in
man,
his
very
shirt
handsome.
off for a couple of scenes in this movie, and I'm or in this episode, and I'm okay, you better work.
And he, I believe, is a voice in Spirited Away.
That makes sense.
He's one of the main voice actors in Spirited Away.
He also
for the American
did.
dub.
He also did the rounds on Boy Meets World. Not in the episode that we're going to talk about, but he is good friends with Will Friedle on Boy Meets World in real life, and he did the rounds on that. But he kind of got replaced by Matthew Lawrence, the taller and more conventionally handsome actor. So that kind of happened on that show, and I think maybe that's when he shifted over here. I don't know, but he did the rounds in the sitcoms. He did the rounds in the voice acting realm, and he's here doing the Lord's work because his scenes with JT, I just want to punch that guy, Brandon Call. Terrible character.
Is this Flash?
No, JT is the
he's
eldest brother.
Sure, he's his friend that
who tries to pass himself off as a Disney heir.
A Disney heir. I have in my notes this grandma getting busy.
Grandma's horny.
Grandma's down to fuck with all these gentlemen callers.
She's ready to jump on the back of someone's motorcycle and haul ass to Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
She's your run of the mill 90s wacky grandma. Mm-hmm. They got to have something. They're horny. They're like, they listen to like heavy metal music. Like, they got to have something.
They're off to aerobics classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also,
she's
I have,
horny.
okay, so I didn't do proper notes for all of these, but I did
same.
for Step by Step.
Okay.
And I have, Jason is shouting all of his lines.
Oh, yes.
Like shouting them. Like he is on stage and he is like playing to the back row.
Right. But they do that thing where it's just like, I'm your wacky neighbor Flash that no one likes. I'm your eldest son's best friend that also no one likes. And I'm going to shoehorn my way into this family vacation. And Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers are just like,
Jason Marsden just shows up. He just shows up at their vacation rental.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to kind of have a little thread here of like the crazy impetus for them to get to Disney World. Where are they staying? Where did Step by Step stay? Did they stay at the Grand Floridian?
No. That is another one that we were talking about. So I believe Step by Step, I don't know what it is called, but there are
vacation rentals.
There are vacation rentals.
They stayed at a vacation rental
by Disney Spring.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's that.
Yeah, that looks like yes. It looked
I mean,
like it was
back
that.
then it would have been like Parents Island.
Back then it was Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island.
Yeah,
now
but
it's
it is
Disney
now
Springs,
just Disney Springs.
which here in California at the resort is Downtown Disney. Mm-hmm. But each Disney park has a shopping district.
I mean, what I like about this kind of setup is that it does make sense that this huge fucking family is staying at like a vacation rental.
Well, because the vacation rentals typically have large family
like
suites.
You're going to be staying in like a townhouse
instead of regular hotel rooms. Are typically like a townhouse, family suites that have kitchens, that have bedrooms.
And they do say in the second episode that some of them are sleeping on the sofa.
Right.
Too.
Right.
So there's not beds for everyone.
Yeah. But then there's that one scene where they all pile into bed with Suzanne Summers and Patrick Duffy, and it's like,
who are fully like,
get out,
wanting to fuck.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
They're wanting to get busy, but they have all of these asshole children.
Half of them that aren't even theirs, jumping into bed. It's like, what is going on? I have to say, Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers got to go to Orlando. They did in 2 episodes. Do they have 5 minutes of screen time?
Especially in the second episode.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty front loaded.
Yeah.
Of what they do,
yes,
and then
they're at the beginning saying,
then they just
we're
dip
going
out
on the trip, and then they try to palm the baby off on Grandma, so we can enjoy some alone time at Disney World. Because, like I said, the kids are old enough that they're just like, bye, go, enjoy the parks. Mm-hmm. We're going to hang out with baby. Oh, we'll give baby to June Lockhart, and then we can go and finger blast on the People Mover. But Grandma is so horny that she's no, I'm not taking that baby.
Grandma's going to be getting finger blasted.
Yeah.
On the People Mover.
People Mover.
Okay, so another staple of most, if not all of these sitcoms, like we mentioned, time waster.
Yes.
Time waster subplots.
Yes.
Just wasting time.
Yeah.
Because you can't really properly write an actual story with some of these.
Right, because what is the conflict? What is the drama? That we're on vacation.
Which they kind of do it with the boys trying to woo Joanna Garcia from Reba. I guess that might be the central conflict of both episodes.
Right.
And then one of the daughters trying to enter a talent competition. Which, could you imagine if you were with your sibling who was an aspiring country music artist and she decides to enter something at the local
at the fake country and western bar
at the local
Downtown Disney,
at the Downtown Disney honky tonk, and you got to sing backup for her, and you can't enjoy your vacation.
No, I've got to sit in the room and rehearse. Well, we've paid how many hundreds of dollars a day to go into these parks, but no, I'm not going to use my park.
And is
ticket,
the daughter
park
just
hopper.
assuming that this is going to be her moment to be discovered?
I think so.
At Downtown Disney.
I think so. Karen is the middle daughter, and she's got raven hair, and she doesn't look like either
any
of her
of
siblings.
them. So I take it that she looks like the dad?
I guess.
Okay, so you were telling me there is a deceased parent and there's a divorced parent.
Right.
Do you know which one's
According
which?
to Wikipedia, Patrick Duffy is divorced and the mother left, and that's all it says. And Suzanne Summers' character is a widow. Because I feel like
America couldn't handle a divorced woman
even in
at
the
that
90s,
time. Yeah.
Even in the 90s, I think they were going off of very dated kind of things. And so her name is even Carol, like on the Brady Bunch, Suzanne Summers. Yeah, and she keeps her married name. She's Karen Foster Lambert.
Yeah.
She doesn't just go by Lambert. And her kids all stick with Foster as their last name. So they're trying to be somewhat progressive, but still, it's like she had to be a widow. Mm-hmm. And Patrick Duffy's wife has to be out of the picture. There's no stepmom. Mm-hmm. She just left.
Deadbeat
Yeah. 3 kids.
Mom.
3 not grown ass kids at the time, but 3 whole kids. She's just like, peace, I'm out. So it's like, I don't know. Why can't there be a stepmom?
Well, they probably couldn't feel like they couldn't kill both spouses because that would be too Brady Bunch.
Yes. Yeah. But it's like, this show, it has way too many characters as it is. Like with the wacky neighbors and like the grandparents coming in and out and best friends and all of this. It's like, there's a third son that's barely in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And he fully does not appear in the final season of the show.
Yeah, he just gets written out like the daughter from Family Matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the final season.
Mm-hmm.
He lasted all that time, and they were just like, well,
he's not getting asked back for the last season.
Yeah, what the hell? But, they only had so much time over on an ABC. It's 22 minutes with commercials. But there's a whole nonsense storyline of that kid Flash trying to break a record of, like, getting on every ride, eating at every food cart.
I can't believe how much time is devoted to this. And it's fully a
guest character.
And it's fully the last, 6 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Is devoted just to that.
In a 22-minute episode, 6 minutes is like a third. Like, what? That's way too long.
And the entire park is rooting for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and something like this would make sense if this was a fan favorite character.
Right.
If this was
it was Cody or even JT.
Even if it was like Kimmy Guppill. Like if they did this on Full House, I think that maybe we would be a little more invested in Kimmy Gibbler trying to do this.
Yeah.
But not for this kid though.
No. I mean, I think probably when they were prepping this episode, it was probably going to be Cody.
Sure.
And then they were just painted into a corner. It was just like, well, he's out. So let's introduce this new dum-dum. And they couldn't have it be JT because they wrote that stupid storyline for him.
Yeah.
Why couldn't it just be JT and James Marsden? The 2 of them doing it. I don't know. They needed their conflict.
They needed to.
So the eldest brother, JT, Brandon Call, he's best friends with Jason Marsden. Jason Marsden.
James Marsden is from X-Men.
From the X-Men and Jury Duty. So they're best friends, they're sissy besties, and they've saved all this money, and they have this fund, this bank account that they both have access to because they're going to get an apartment because they're going to college.
These boys are really planning ahead.
Yes. Well, good for them.
Good for them.
They're going to get this apartment, split it, and go to college and be horny adults on their own. Well, they meet these girls. One of them is played by Joanna Garcia from Reba. And to ingratiate themselves with the girls, JT says that his last name is Disney and starts spending all this money on them.
Oh, JT Disney?
Yeah. Oh, JT Disney, the long lost heir. And he drains the account. And this is, I would say, the main conflict of these 2 episodes, if but like every sitcom conflict, it gets resolved.
Yeah.
Neatly.
It gets resolved neatly. Okay, so you know what another kind of signature of all of these episodes is really showcasing a ride?
Sure.
So in these episodes, they go on the Tower of Terror.
Yes. And they use stock footage.
But casually getting on the Tower of Terror having no idea what it is, I think is
Well, that's a thing
pretty
that
funny.
they do on these shows a lot. They will get on rides and act like they have no idea what a ride is.
Although
they've just been in line for an hour
when
and a
we
half.
were last on the Tower of Terror, I was fully sitting next to a kooky guy that did have no idea
he
what
was
the ride was.
there by himself. Well, okay, granted, we got in before the park opened.
Yeah.
Park opened at 9. We got in at 8:30. Beelined it to Tower of Terror, and we're like the third people in line, right? And he was right behind us. So he didn't wait for an hour and a half to get on and la la la. He just walked on, and he's behind us. And he was just like, "What's going to happen?"
He was fully in my lap by the end of the ride.
Yeah. But they do that on these shows. One of the things that they do is they won't know what a ride is. They're just like, where am I? A roller coaster? What?
A roller coaster by the ocean?
Yeah.
A roller coaster falling into the ocean like in the opening credits?
Yeah. They talk to masked as well as non-masked characters as if they are the actual
Did we get any of that in
character.
this episode?
I don't think we got too much of it in this
No.
episode. We get it more later on. We get it in Full House. We get it in Roseanne. But we didn't really get it here.
I mean, this episode is almost like a Robert Altman movie. That we have all of the various stories and subplots.
Yeah, but they don't all intertwine.
But they don't
at
quite
any point,
intertwine.
like Seinfeld. But what are some other tropes that they do? I mean, yeah, just jumping from park to park with no kind of...
Oh, rules of time and space are non-existent in all of these episodes.
They just show up.
I would say
Epcot.
at least one of them, the second episode that we're talking about in just a few minutes, that's at least set on one park.
Right.
In the Sabrina episode that we're not talking about, that's all at the Animal Kingdom.
Right.
So I think that it's also anything that Disney wants to
Showcase.
And
I read
in
that-
the second episode, it's parent silent.
I read that the Sabrina episode was like weeks after the opening of Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
It was like the paint was still fresh at Animal Kingdom.
And I also feel like Animal Kingdom had some kind of bad press going into it.
Right.
That it was boring.
Right. Nothing there.
So
not
that
a
was
lot
probably
not a lot of
why.
rides.
That was probably
yeah.
why that Disney wanted to go so hard
Yeah,
on it.
I think maybe this one really kind of showcased Disney Springs the most.
I think it's Disney. I keep calling it Parents Island.
Parents Island.
But it's
Pleasure Island. They refer to it as Pleasure Island.
And they go to the honky tonk is the Neon Armadillo.
The Neon Armadillo.
Which would have had to have been a club.
Yeah, it was a real. I think it was a real
think
space.
that it just kind of looks like a House of Blues.
It does.
Unless they couldn't get House of Blues.
No,
Something.
I think at that point it was probably just the Neon Armadillo, and that's just what it was.
There's the YouTube Defunctland. All of his videos are always really interesting, and he has a full one on the history of.
It goes deep. Pleasure Island.
Of Pleasure Island.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It goes a little too deep. Sometimes there's a little like real minutia in that one. I'm
Really
just like,
interesting.
ooh.
Now, all right. So we should probably move on. Any last reflections about Step by Step?
That's as much as I want to talk about Step by Step in my podcasting career.
This was never one of my favorites, even as a kid.
Yeah,
that I just never could really get invested with anyone.
Yeah, I agree.
I always just kind of thought it was a dud, and we don't really revisit at all Step by Step, even for like kitsch. Too.
No, not even like put it on. It's so bad, it's good.
Like I think that we probably returned to this episode the most.
Yeah.
And this episode is garbage.
Yeah.
So the second episode that we are talking about.
Sorry, Step by Step. You're out of here.
You're out of here. So next we're going to be talking about Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets
World.
World.
I think that we could potentially just do a Boy Meets World episode.
Okay.
So the Boy Meets World episode that we are talking about is from season 3, episode 22, The Happiest Place on Earth. Episode air date May 10th, 1996, a mere weeks after the Step by Step episode.
Boy Meets World was one of those ones that never really had a consistent theme song.
Wasn't there sort of like vocals when this boy meets world, driving down this place called life?
I think that was very early on. Was that in the one that we watched?
I don't remember.
Gosh, I don't remember either.
But
at any rate,
how come I just came up with that off the top of my head?
Am I be a songwriter?
Did I just create that?
You might
I don't know.
have.
But
no, there's a official Disney Channel one that's longer. Yeah.
So I also have an interesting relationship with Boy Meets World.
Okay.
That I definitely remember watching it.
Uh-huh.
It just was not one of my favorites, and I don't know why. Because I was in grade school at the time, so I would have been watching TV like this. But for some odd reason, I didn't really keep up with Boy Meets World. But I always remember going over to sleepovers on Friday nights and us having to watch TGIF because that's what you do when you're a kid.
Yes.
And that's usually when I would watch episodes of Boy Meets World.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm older than most of the kids on the show. I'm Will Friedle's age, who's the older brother, Eric.
I used to think Eric was very, very
Eric
cute.
Is so cute. That's kind of why I watched it, because I was like, he is really cute. He's my age. He's playing younger on the show. I feel like I was probably out of high school and he was still like,
I mean, I take it that their ages on
junior.
their show are probably very gray, but I take it that he's a grade above Corey.
I mean, he's older than Corey for sure. And I think the thing in the show is that it starts off and he's 3 years older than Corey, but then he stays in high school a little too long. So then they make it that he's 2 years older than Corey.
Yeah.
Like Corey and Sean are sophomores and he's still in high school. And it's like, well, he should have graduated already.
Did Boy Meets World start out in junior high?
Yes, they were little when
Yeah,
it
so, like,
started.
they were
off.
little.
They were young when it started. They were like 11. So they're like Corey and Sean and Topanga.
And Mr. Feeney just
Are
kept
their age.
teaching every single year.
Yes. And he kept getting promoted. He
They
eventually
got a
became the
class with
principal.
Mr. Feeney
but he
every
went from
year.
they went from middle school all the way through high school, and then he became the and all that. And Feeney followed him. Yeah, along the lines
But you know
of
what?
Bayside.
But
and
you know
Mr.
what?
Belden.
In my junior high and high school and grade school, I did have repeat teachers.
Yeah.
That got promotions, moved grades, and
Sure.
just ended up like having us twice.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy Meets World is one of those shows. It was on for a long time, 158 episodes. It was on for 7 seasons. There was a lot of turnaround in the supporting cast.
And I feel like if you were a working actor in your teens to early 20s,
You did the rounds.
you were probably on
Yeah.
many episodes of Boy Meets World.
And that's the thing. They had best friends, bullies, girlfriends, side characters, teachers that would be there and have long arcs, and then they're just were gone.
Yeah.
There's a whole like last couple seasons where, like I said, they brought in Matthew Lawrence, they brought in his Sean's girlfriend, they brought in Matthew Lawrence got a girlfriend. They had this whole crew of people that were just there for 2 seasons, and then so
These
there
people
was a
that are
lot
just
of,
in and out of our lives.
right. But throughout it all, there was our main cast of Corey Matthews, played by Ben Savage, who, I mean, I don't know how we feel about Ben Savage lately. He's just kind of...
Is he the questionable Democrat
Yes.
that is in West Hollywood?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's running for office in Southern California.
Is a Democrat on paper,
lately.
but
he's not winning
his,
anything.
His politics really don't match.
Right. And, well, the thing is, his best friend on the Corey's best friend on the show, Sean Hunter, played by Ryder Strong, who, you want to talk about handsome.
I like Ryder Strong.
He
Very handsome.
He stayed handsome.
Yeah.
I mean,
he can still get
Will
it.
Friedle can still get it. He stayed handsome too, but Ryder Strong is like mama. He's one of those like, oh yeah, he aged with me.
I bet
in my tastes.
I bet Ryder Strong like.
Oh, he pulled some puss.
He pulled some major tail on the set of Boy Meets World. I bet that he fucking ruled that roost. On set.
I'm sure. Him and Will probably.
Yep.
I mean, this cast. It's like Ben Savage is like the most average looking one of them all, and he is kind of average looking. But I mean, and there were seasons when you had Ryder Strong, Will Friedle, and Matthew Lawrence,
Yeah.
all sharing the screen.
Who do you choose?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A fool's like ransom for the girls and for the gays. But Ryder Strong has gone on record saying, I mean, the whole thing now is that Ryder Strong, Will Friedle, and Danielle Fishel have their recap podcasts Pod Meets World.
You casually listen to it.
Casually listened to it. And
I listened to Adam Scott's episode.
Okay. He was a bully.
He was a bully.
Yeah.
He said that he was very intimidated by that entire cast.
The cast.
Yeah.
They had been
Yep.
doing this show, working since they were 11. So I would be too.
And it's kind of sounded like he had some choice words with Ryder Strong.
Oh, interesting.
That Ryder was kind of mean to him.
Oh, interesting.
And he talked about it. Like he didn't, well, he said that he didn't think he was going to tell the story on the podcast. And then he just kind of came out with it.
Okay, I'll go into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And did Ryder Strong say I don't remember that and I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. That's usually what happens on that show. I don't remember doing that, but I'm really sorry that it happened. But that's the thing. They take accountability for it. They'll be like, I did. Things were happening with all of us, And
They
it's
all had inflated egos as 17-year-olds.
Yeah. But the thing is, Ben Savage has kind of famously, they've all talked about it, has ghosted them all three of them.
And especially for her,
Right.
that I think that they were somewhat close. I mean,
Will,
they did
Will
the
as
reboot
well.
show. Yeah.
Will as well. Will was like, I was on this day one with you, And nowadays, a lot of them are getting kind of rekindling these friendships because of the con circuit.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of peripheral income because of the cons, And Ben was there and doing the cons and all in with all of them and doing all the photo ops and everything. And all of a sudden, he just dipped. And none of them know why. He never said anything. He never was like, I need to step away. I need to blah, blah, blah. He just ghosted everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where they all are today. But I went to 2 tapings of Boy Meets World
I love that.
in the 90s.
I never got to.
I never
got to go to a traditional sitcom taping.
I had
like
a friend
that.
in high school who she was in love with Ryder Strong. And so she was like,
As were you.
I feel like I was more Will Friedle. I was
Okay.
more Eric Matthews.
That's fair.
And so, yeah, she just randomly was like, if I get tickets to Boy Meets World, will you go with me? And she had a car. So I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. So we went and sitcom taping. Took forever. Looks really small in person.
And you said most of it was pre-recorded, right?
Well, no. The one that was, a lot of it was pre-recorded. It was an episode where Sean gets in drags. All up in drags.
Did he not want to be in drag in front of an audience?
And he did, yeah. And so most of his scenes are in the school, and the set's there.
I don't think I've ever seen this episode. We'll have to
We'll
watch
find it. The set's there.
Maybe we'll do a full episode on it.
It was the house to the left and the school hallway to the right. And they did all the stuff without Ryder on set, and then all the stuff with him in drag was on monitors.
Okay, so Ryder was in drag.
Ryder was in drag.
I think you'd make a really pretty girl.
Very pretty girl.
I think you'd make a very pretty girl. He has a very pretty face.
Yes.
I can see it working.
Yes. So that happened. This episode, what brings them to Disney World is insane.
Okay, so also Corey and Topanga are broken up.
In this episode, yes.
In this episode.
What season is this?
This is season 3.
Oh, wow. Season 3. Okay.
I don't know if they're taking a break or if this is a full breakup.
This show is crazy.
But it also
They end up
sounds
getting
like
married.
it was
What?
Corey's decision to break up.
Right. So at this point of the show, they're broken up. But Topanga's class
Yeah.
wins a prize?
Did they write a paper or something?
Yeah, because it's only a couple of students. It's like a classroom, not even like the 10th grade class. It's just like one specific,
the winners of this paper. I don't
science
know what
class
this
or
paper
something.
is.
And is it a science class? Because the only thing that they do is go to the Living Seas in Epcot.
Yeah.
So
The boys are iced out.
the boys are iced out. They're not part of the
They're
winning
not
kids.
They're not part of the winning kids. You know who is a part of the winning kids?
I know.
Is Andrew Keegan.
Is one Mr. Andrew Keegan.
Which also
Lips.
Corey, if Andrew Keegan is trying to take your woman,
Good luck.
good luck, because Andrew Keegan was the boy on girls' bedroom wall at this time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the ones that is only one episode,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So Topanga and Ronnie, Andrew Keegan, get to go to the Disney World trip. And Sean gets this big idea that, like, well, let's just go. We'll take a bus or something.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World. Okay, first of all, we didn't say Step by Step is set in Port Washington, Wisconsin.
Random.
They got to make their way
So random, but I
to
love
Orlando.
it, though.
Boy Meets World is set in Philadelphia. This
Philadelphia?
school full of
Of a bunch
lily
of
white
kids.
children. Boy Meets World for
This
some
has to be
crazy reason.
Be a suburb of Philadelphia.
Some crazy reason is set in Philadelphia. Yeah. Never is brought up during the show.
I would even
they
buy.
never talk about
buy
it.
some with these kids going to school in a suburb of Pittsburgh.
Just Pennsylvania, yeah, just outside of
Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, but
I
they
don't know.
specifically say
Philadelphia.
Philly.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so they got to get their way from Philadelphia to Orlando. And
this episode is called "The Happiest Show on
it
Earth."
is, yeah,
So it's kind of a play on the greatest show on Earth,
right.
the movie. Okay.
Well, the greatest show on earth was the catchphrase for the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey's Circus.
It's a little play on words. I just assumed it was the happiest place on Earth.
Right.
Okay.
Also, the happiest place on earth is specifically Disneyland, USA in Anaheim. The Magic Kingdom in Orlando is not the happiest place on earth. I think it's like the most magical place on earth or something. But the happiest place on earth is only specifically talking about Disneyland in California.
So
did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. So I love that when we do get to Disney World, that it's just cut to the Dumbo ride.
Yeah.
We're at Disney World.
Well,
They're on the Dumbo ride.
It was like a dream sequence.
Oh, that's a dream sequence.
Yeah,
sure.
it was a dream sequence.
Oh yeah, because it cuts to them sleeping.
Yeah, because they
in
don't
Corey's
actually.
room, and there's those little like twin beds.
Yes, right next to each other,
And
like Lucy and Ricky.
And it kind of looks like they're sleeping in the same bed of how the shot's staged.
The way it's staged, it's kind of low, the camera, so it looks like they're just in one big king size bed together. But Eric and Corey share a room in this house. This 2-story suburban house in Philadelphia.
Only
that's
one room for the boys.
big enough to have its own staircase in the kitchen, yet the boys have to share a bedroom as full teenagers.
Okay, so Sean mentions having to pull mob connections to get these plane tickets. Did you catch that?
Yes, I sure did.
I mean, I guess it makes sense that Sean would have mob connections.
Well, the whole thing is on the show is that Sean is like trashy.
He's from the wrong side of the tracks. Isn't there a whole arc with his mom, too?
Yeah.
Like his mom doesn't want him.
Like his mom's an alcoholic or something. And like
I'm assuming that Corey's family just has to raise this poor kid. Yeah. But yeah, I could see Sean having mafia uncles that get him a good deal on all of these plane tickets.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, all of this B-roll, the Magic Kingdom, and yes, the Living Seas.
Yeah, because most of the episode does take place in Epcot. It's they don't.
It's a very Epcot-centric
episode. They don't do
because they're there for a class trip and they're learning. So that means that you have to go to Epcot.
Yeah, it's an educational space, Scott. Did you know that? When you go to Disney World, you learn things. This was my big push to my parents of like why they had to take us. Education for science.
So
Living Seas.
So you clock Alexandra Morris, the Tool Time model.
No, it's Debbie Dunning.
Debbie Dunning.
Yeah. And it's spelled Debbe.
Why do I have Alexandra Morris in my notes? I don't know. But yeah, the Tool Time chick.
Yeah, Debbie Dunning. She's her name is Alexandra in the show.
Oh, Alexandra Morris. Yep.
That's what she says in the
I have
show.
the character name.
Yeah. It's Debbie Dunning, and she plays the like living seas, like marine biologist that comes out in these like short shorts and like all this cleavage like hanging out. And she's like, I'm the marine biologist here at the Living Seas.
So is Mr. Feeney with them on the trip?
No. That old man stayed in, in Philly.
Did Mr. Feeney have any scenes in this episode?
Yeah, because Sean and Corey ditch school and don't tell their parents that they're going to Orlando.
So they've just gone missing.
Crossing state lines on a plane. And Eric decides to fake Corey being in class.
Oh, he has
With
all
the
the
big
business
dummy.
with the big dummy.
And he shoves him into his locker. And Mr. Feeney comes out in his mid-Atlantic accent and is like, Mr. Matthews, did you just shove your brother into that locker? sounding like Katharine Hepburn.
How do you feel about them spending the night on Splash Mountain?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So things that they do in these shows, they get on rides where they don't know what the ride is. They do things that will have you permanently removed from the park.
They would be on the evening news if they were caught sleeping on Splash Mountain.
Well, for one thing, everything that happens in this episode takes place in Epcot. It's at the Living Seas, they're at the restaurant, all this stuff. But when they decide, well, we don't have a hotel room, we are boxcar children.
We don't have any money.
We don't have any money, so let's just camp here overnight. They get on a monorail ride for 15 minutes to the Magic Kingdom from Epcot.
Yeah.
It is not close.
It's a ways.
It's a ways.
Yeah.
Make their way into Magic Kingdom.
Wait a minute. Isn't Epcot... Oh, yeah, you do have to take a monorail. I was like, do you have to take a bus for Epcot? I can't remember. But yeah.
Yeah. Epcot and Magic Kingdom are monorail connected for sure. Because they're the oldest ones, so they're the ones that you can. I'm assuming they snuck into the Magic Kingdom. Did the mob uncle get them tickets for every park hoppers? But now they've slept there overnight.
How did they get scuba certified to be in the Living Seas when Topanga and Andrew Keegan are having their romantic dinner?
Yeah. The same well, we'll talk about it later on. But this episode, all laws of logic and
But you know
reason
what
are
this
out the
episode
window.
does have, which is synergy. There is a step-by-step crossover.
There is. There absolutely is. We meet Dana at the Living Seas. Is it Dana? She's not wearing anything.
I think in the universe of the show it is.
Right.
I don't know when Dana had time to take this tour of the Living Seas, but I mean, maybe she could fit it in as she was helping her sister prepare for her country act.
IMDb has Stacey Keenan credited as Dana.
Yeah.
So I would imagine
Stacey Keenan and her bleach blonde hair.
Her Donna Martin
hair.
The flip. Mm-hmm. Her Donna Martin corn silk.
That shade of platinum.
Yeah. So shiny.
Yeah.
It's brass. And it's that flip, and it's like so bleached, it does not move. I love it.
So, like, Corey's trying to get Topanga back because he regrets breaking up with her.
Yeah.
There is this poor girl who he's been leading on. So it's like...
Oh, yeah, the girl that likes him.
They do this not love triangle.
Yeah. She's there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Did she write the essay, too? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that she's on the trip.
Yeah, she's on the trip. Because when she sees him, she goes up and kisses him, and he's like, no, I'm not here for you. And Topanga's like, I see how it is. Leave me alone. Topanga's hair past her ass.
Yeah.
So long.
Iconic.
Danielle Fishel's hair. So,
I mean, there's a joke that she has an entire huge suitcase just for her hair products.
Just for her hair products. And the thing is, her hair was so iconic on the show that... I read about this, that at one point she went to this showrunner and said, I would like to cut my hair this summer. It's time.
Yeah.
It's too long.
It is too long.
I'm too old. I'm tired of it. And he said, okay, don't do it this summer. Wait till we start shooting again, and we're going to write it into the show, and I want you to cut it yourself.
On camera? Did she do it?
Yes. And it's in an episode.
That's cool.
Yeah. So she said okay.
At least they let her cut it.
She said okay, and she thought it would be fun to cut it on camera, and they let her cut it, and it's not like super short. She never has like, a pixie or anything.
Did she just do a bob?
She just does like
a shoulders,
bob. Yeah. Shoulder, because it's literally to her ass.
Yeah.
So it's quite a few inches that was cut off, but and to her that was probably just like, oh my god, what a weight off my shoulders, like literally. But because that was the thing. He's like, no, your hair is Topanga. So that's an episode. That's something that you can probably just find a million like GIFs and find on YouTube and stuff.
It's cool that she got to be on camera cutting her hair.
Yeah. Yeah, what a moment.
But yeah, I like that. I mean, like I mentioned before, all of these episodes, they're all time wasters.
Yes.
And most of this episode, it's all time wasters.
Yes.
It's just, yeah.
Okay, so are we to assume that, well, I guess it happens. I was going to say, are these minors, these children, these teenagers, have all gone to Orlando without a parent in sight?
Yeah.
No adult supervision
Unless
whatsoever?
they're there, they're not with
But,
them.
I mean, you guys went to D.C. and you guys did trips out of state, right? You did a D.C. trip?
I did do a DC trip.
I never did.
I think that we were, I think our government teacher probably kept a pretty close watch on all of us because it's DC.
Yeah.
It is a major, dangerous city.
Right.
But I remember when we went to Disney World when I was in high school because we went for a band trip.
Oh, for a band thing.
When I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And we were just turned loose in high school.
Okay.
And we all just went off in groups.
Okay. So this is not
So I wouldn't say
Two
it's-
out of the question.
It's two out of the question.
okay. Well, they are having a romantic dinner at the Living Seas restaurant, which I always find.
I love that he booked ahead.
Yes.
Andrew Keegan was thinking ahead.
I mean, that's the
He
thing about
really
Disney
had
World.
He really had to impress Topanga.
You got a plan. I always find it funny that there's this whole restaurant that's like very Jaws 3D
I wanted to go.
with the glass, and you're under this aquarium. We wanted to go last time, and we didn't.
Would you rather if we go back? Would you rather do this under the sea restaurant or the outer space one?
Probably the Under the Sea, because at least it's a
Yeah.
real aquarium. The outer space one is just like screens.
I remember,
But is it seafood?
probably
And you're down there, you're like, look at all the sharks. And you're like,
that is
I
why
don't know.
that is why you watch the Disney food and wine
food blog?
the Disney food blog videos
Yeah.
because she talks about that.
yeah,
Of that, if you do not like seafood, maybe do not book a table for there.
sure.
It would not be the restaurant of your choice.
Right.
You're not going to be eating there or the Adventureland restaurant that has the really weird shit on the menu.
Oh, sure.
I would love to eat there, but I'm also not a picky eater.
But what kind of weird shit is it?
It has like a lot of weird,
Like
there's a lot of
adventurous
weird stuff.
food.
Adventurous food.
Things that they have those clubs of people who are like, and I'm like a hunter, and I'm like a world traveler, and I eat like crazy shit.
Yeah, there's not really
I'll skip it.
a lot of wrap up in this episode.
No.
They reconcile in front of Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, there's the fountain out front.
Yeah, it's like
They get a
that's
nice
it.
shot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not a lot
it's-
happens.
Not a lot happens in this episode.
I feel
they
like
didn't
for-
even bother doing 2 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like for a Disney episode, it's like kind of a waste.
They're going to kind of budget for, because they're going to be spending all this money on an
Yeah.
episode, so they have to recoup it by doing 2.
All they did in the Magic Kingdom was the Dumbo Dream sequence and Splash Mountain, but it was before the park was open because they're alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one in line. There's no one on the cars behind them. And Sean and Corey go down Splash Mountain together alone in a log. That's all we get of Magic Kingdom.
Do you know if
Everything
they've-
else is Epcot.
Do you know if they've done this episode? I mean, they would have had to have done this episode on the podcast.
Yeah, they're way past this already.
I'll have
yeah.
to listen to it.
Yeah, they're in like season 7.
I'm sure
now.
that all of them have funny stories, and they probably
Yeah,
say
good call.
how,
I should
how
have said
Will
this would be a fun
didn't
one.
get to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to stay in Los Angeles and shoot on the soundstage at Disney.
Yeah, with a sad Corey
Dummy.
Matthews dummy.
Yeah. so that's Boy Meets World.
Yeah, that's enough of
Like
that
I
one.
mentioned before, I can see us doing an episode of Boy Meets World.
Yes, definitely.
Eventually. It would be fun to do the one that you saw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll find it. We'll watch it. Maybe we'll watch it tonight.
Okay, so the third
What
episode
is
that we're
up next?
talking about, we're talking about Full House, Season 6, Episode 23, The House Meets the Mouse, episode air date, May 11th, 1993. I do like the name of this episode.
The House Meets the Mouse.
They
It's
actually
pretty good.
bothered to write an original name for the episode.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, because everything else is we're going to Disney World.
Okay, so Full House.
Uh-huh.
I did watch the shit.
I
of
mean, come
when I
on.
was a
We are
kid.
red-blooded Americans.
It was Full House.
We watched
I
Full
was a
House.
child in the 90s.
Yeah.
Of course I was
Who are-
watching Full
who are we
House.
kidding?
Oh, yeah, here it is right here.
Who are we kidding? We watched Full House. We know these characters like they're family.
Yeah. Oh, and I can still name, like, favorite storylines, favorite moments.
Yeah.
And I can't do that with something like Step by Step.
Or even Boy Meets World.
Or
You were
even
not
Boy
the
Meets
biggest.
World.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's iconic. It's Full House. It's stupid kid TV of the 90s.
Yeah, agreed.
And also, I mean, this theme song.
This is an extended mix of this theme song. What's going on here?
Oh, is this the one from the pilot?
No, it's because it's Michelle's. Mary-Kate and Ash, they're jumping on the bed. Yeah.
Well, on their podcast with Andrea and Jody, they talk about how the pilot has an extended opening that is nowhere to be found on the rest of the show. So it might be that. But although Michelle was a little older.
But they cut this all together, yeah.
Yeah. No, this looks like it's fan-made.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, at any rate, Full House, I mean, I often liken Full House to like our Brady Bunch of the 90s.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even when it was on, we knew this was corny. We were not like, this is stupid. Yeah, we weren't exactly sitting around going like, this is drama, children. Like, we knew, but it was just, it was just fun. Everybody watched it. Like, I don't know.
I am the same age as Mary-Kate and Ashley. I'm probably like about 4 or 5 months older than them probably. So roughly you are seeing the age of me when you see Michelle Tanner. Like, you're roughly seeing how old I would have been at the time of filming.
Right. Okay, so this season of Full House, tell me what season this is.
Okay, so this was Full House, episode 6, episode 23, The House Meets Mouse.
Season 6,
Season
episode
6.
23? Yeah. That's what I'm going for.
So kind of going towards the back half of Full House.
Yes. That was.
I think they have probably about 2 more seasons left in them.
There's 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Of the original show. So season 6, all right, because this is 93?
93, yep.
When it airs.
And you know that it's 93 because all the Aladdin stuff is in the park.
There you go. DJ is dating Steve, so she's already firmly a teenager in high school, old enough to have a boyfriend.
And I take it that Jody is like junior high age.
Yeah, she.
I think
she's
probably like a 7th grader.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe in 6.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. She's a kid, but she's older than Michelle, who is still. Michelle is perennially just always like a first grader. 6, 7. Yeah, I feel like it's just like DJ's a teenager, Stephanie's a middle schooler, and Michelle's first grade.
I mean, especially like the back half of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. So around those ages.
All right. So what gets the whole family to Disney World?
First things first, we start off with Jesse and
Becky.
Lori
Loughlin.
And they're in their palatial attic apartment.
I mean, I would want to rent this out.
This attic is fucking huge. It's bigger than our apartment.
Rooms of this attic.
Rooms. Their bedroom is in there like a studio apartment, but the boys have a room. And I think the whole gag is like, we never get any time alone because we're parents now. And it's like, well,
And
guess
they're
what?
about
You're
to,
parents
They're about
now.
to hit their anniversary.
And they're about to hit an anniversary.
Are they married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. They're not
No,
gonna
they
let
wouldn't
Becky have
they wouldn't
children.
have kids
Yeah.
with Becky and have her not be married.
Yeah. So Jesse's famous band,
Jesse and the Rippers.
Jesse and the Rippers, get a gig at Disney World, as famous bands often do.
I have a question. I wanted to ask you this as we were watching the episode, but I decided to hold it.
Yeah.
Can you compare to Jesse and the Rippers?
No.
Like, what is their level of fame?
Right.
Are they being played on MTV?
No.
But they're booking a gig at Disney World, though.
But I think just random bands play like the
In
Tomorrowland Terrace.
In front of the castle?
I don't know.
No, like...
They're not a Tomorrowland Terrace band, but they're not like Bon Jovi.
Isn't there an episode where they have the premiere of one of their videos on MTV and the twins are like babies in it? And
Maybe.
it specifically premieres on MTV. So Jesse has questionable fame. Like, I can't really compare him to anybody.
Right, no.
Like, I can't really find, like, this is like... It's not like they're the Goo Goo Dolls. No, they're not that cool.
They're like a cover band.
They're like a cover band.
All
They're
they play are like 50s,
60s standards.
60s
the
rock
hippie
cover.
shake.
Yeah. A bunch of grown men screaming into one microphone, the hippie shake. Like, what is that? I don't want to see that.
I also love it, of just in the Rippers and just trying to wrap my mind around
But Jesse not only
where their
has
place is in the music industry.
not only has the famous rock and roll outfit, Jesse and the Rippers, but he also has his famous #1 hit radio morning, afternoon, evening
that he does
show
with Uncle Joey.
with Joey. Yeah, what is the level of fame there?
Is he
Like Mark and
are
Brian?
they like a Kevin and Bean?
Yeah, like a
of
Mark and
San
Brian,
Francisco?
but syndicated
And I'm
because
assuming
they're I guess local places do record from.
I guess that they could be doing a morning
location.
show from Disney World because it is a couple hours before.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be doing it at like 8 a.m.
Yeah, for the 5 o'clock
for
morning
the 5 o'clock morning show.
live, or just pre-record it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a family of broadcasters because Bob Saget is like a news anchor.
He has a morning. He has like a Regis and Kelly kind of a
Doesn't
show.
he do it with Aunt Becky?
He did, and then now he does it with the woman that he asked to marry in this episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing. Jesse's like, I got booked to play Disney World, so let's just go. We'll do our second honeymoon, romantic
But we're going to bring the whole
anniversary.
family.
No. His plan was let's just go and do this. Then Danny is like, guess what? I convinced the network to do Wake Up San Francisco.
Sure. And that's what
out
prompts
of
the
Disney
entire
World.
family to go.
Yeah. And Jesse was just like, or Joey was just like, cool, I'll go too because I am a weirdo, adult, straight,
So
single male.
the entire family, a weird, straight adult that does his voices.
Yeah.
Kind of like a low-rent Robin Williams. That's how I always kind of saw Uncle Joey.
Wannabe.
Okay, so I will give the episode this of the Kimmy character.
Yes.
I think how Kimmy breaks it down, and
Yeah.
I mean Andrea Barber, like
Solid work.
batting 1,000
Yes.
with all of these line deliveries.
Always knocking it out of the park.
Always knocking it out of the park.
with Kimmy.
Like she really makes this stupid character work.
Yeah.
But I like it's a very Steve Urkel thing of
Right.
whenever we take a family vacation, my family doesn't want me there.
Right.
My family hates me so much that me taking a vacation with another family will be like a
They
vacation
will pay.
for them.
They will pay for
pay
me
you.
to go with you, so that I will be gone for a week.
But I mean, it's
Love
Kimmy
it.
Gibbler, so I kind of buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. And like, let's be honest. Like, Kimmy has to go to Disney World.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have to get her there somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Like,
sure.
she's like the Roy that feels a little more earned because she's been there since the beginning. Like,
Oh
Urkel.
yes, Kimmy's been there
Yep.
since she was a child. She was on this show, putting in the time. So I'm
She-
there for
she,
Andrea.
She can go to Disney World.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Steve does not get to go because he is the boyfriend of of DJ. So no, he can stay home.
Mm-hmm.
But they stay at the Grand Floridian.
Yes. Oh, they're ballers.
Yes.
How much do you think an entire family vacation with this many people staying at
Well,
the Grand
maybe the Wake
Floridian?
Up San Francisco network is like footing the bill for Danny.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money,
Yeah.
even for 93.
Yeah. No, it was. The Grand Floridian was always the flagship hotel of like the 3 anchor hotels that the monorail goes to.
is it kind of like a hierarchy thing with all of these episodes that the Full House family got got the fucking Grand Floridian?
Yeah.
Because they are the royal family
Yeah.
of this network.
Hey, I mean, not too shabby that the Winslows got the lodge.
Yeah.
That's a nice one too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's definitely was a real hotel. Boy Meets World didn't get shit, and Step by Step got like a no name kind of.
Yeah. Okay, so do we want to
Vacation
talk
rental.
about the main conflict of this episode, which I am always fascinated with how ridiculous this is. The Princess for a Day
Oh my god,
with Michelle.
Oh my lord, yeah, they were pulling some shit out of their hats for this one. So It's not even a parade. It's like it's a float, but it's not moving.
And it's kind of off to the side, off Main Street.
Yeah.
It's like right before you start walking up to the castle.
Yeah.
It's probably around where Roseanne is feeding the ducks.
And it's a Aladdin-themed event, and a face character, an actor, is playing what I assume to be the vendor from the beginning of Aladdin.
Oh, that's who he's supposed to be?
I think so.
Interesting.
Because
Do you
they
think
say
that they actually had this?
Because the girls say like, "Oh, those are the characters from Aladdin." There's Aladdin and Jasmine, and somebody says like, "And the seller or the vendor or something." I think Stephanie says it.
Yeah. And I remember being like, the vendor.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And
but
this
he's
could have been
doing
like
a very questionable kind of like accent.
I mean,
work.
I hope at least he's Armenian.
Could
that
be
like
some
he's
sort of
some
Middle Eastern,
vaguely Middle Eastern or even Eastern European gentleman that just
Yeah.
got the work.
from the Caucasus somewhere. Yeah, we hope, but whatever.
So like
it was
kids,
the 90s.
kids have to step up and rub the lamp, and if the genie comes out, you are the prince or princess of the day.
Yes. And so all these kids are just in line and they're rubbing the lamp. And just like these sad kids who are not actors, just like, not me. And Michelle, who has been bossing everyone around
Michelle's just being a little bitch
all
in this
day. She's
episode.
being a little bitch.
Well,
the
and
whole
she
time.
cuts in front of Stephanie.
Well, that's the thing. Is it like timed that like when they said the smoke and the genie comes out for Michelle, would it have come out for Stephanie? Like, or did it come out because it was Michelle? She's magic and she is the princess.
I think that's probably what Michelle would tell you.
It would have come out for me anyway, no matter where I was in line.
So she gets to be the princess for a day, and they're granting her 3 wishes, which I guess for the logic of these stupid shows, it's not like Michelle's going to be like, my dad lost his job. Can you give my dad a new job?
Can you bring my mom
Can
back
you bring
from
my
heaven?
mom back from heaven? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, the 3 wishes, which
My
they
sister's missing a leg. There's some dangerous territory that these kids could ask here. But also, it's not just like, here's 2 fast passes for the day. Get out of here. But there's 4 of us. Here are 2 fast passes. No, it's 3 wishes. And they make it seem as if every cast member in the entire park
they know her by name.
has been appraised. They know her by name. They know her image. They've got the picture on like every like behind the scenes.
Okay, so we have to get into this. And I don't think that we really saw it in the other 2 that we talked about, is talking to the face characters like they're actual people.
Yes.
And they just wander around.
Yes.
Unsupervised.
We'll just
which
walk
I
up to
love.
you and tap you on the shoulder.
And the Full House episode in particular is extra crazy with
Yes,
it.
yeah.
Because, I mean, it's pretty much Snow White.
Well, because mostly, it's a character, so they're in a mask, and so they're mute.
Except for Snow White.
But in this one,
That's the actual
there's
Snow
a
White.
Snow White, and
That is-
she is answering.
That is the actual Snow
and this
White.
woman, this actress that lives in Kissimmee somewhere, and just like drives herself into work every day, just like, all right, here we go. One more day, clocks in. She's like, who's fucking princess for the day today?
I wonder if they used a real Snow White that was working there.
Or
Probably.
was she just an actual actress?
I mean, I don't know. They probably used
I think
real...
Disney would be
They
like,
probably used a real cast
we'll
member.
give you one of our girls. Yeah.
I mean, I hope she got her SAG card.
Yeah, that'd be cool for her.
But
But this girl is in character as Snow White, but also knows who Michelle Tanner is and the parameters
and
of
she
this
sees
prize.
that her sisters aren't with her.
Yeah. But does not
try
to find
to find anyone. She just brings her to a tea party in this nondescript location. And also, there's all of the stuff at the river docks with Chippendale.
Right.
That Chippendale are just loose.
Just hanging
Just
out.
loose on the grounds.
Yeah. They're just wandering around.
Giving-
Because, that's not inside of a park. No. That's out by, like, is it like Lake USA or whatever? That's like the Bay Lake right in the middle of, like, Epcot and all that. Yeah.
like helping to console Aunt Becky when she's going through marital problems. That all Aunt Becky has to talk to are just Chip and Dale.
Yeah, who do not respond other than like shrugs and like
playing their little game of jacks or I don't know what.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But not only does Snow White in character find Michelle and say like, okay, I'm gonna take you somewhere so that we can have our eyes on you until we find your adult.
Oh yeah, because Michelle fully just storms off.
Yes.
When Stephanie calls her on all of her bullshit.
Yeah.
Of what a little bitch she's being.
But I love when she leaves and DJ, they're like all like fighting about her. Like, what are we going to do about fucking Michelle? We're going to put a muzzle on that one. And DJ's like, I'll talk to her. And they discover that she's missing. And DJ's just like, Michelle! She just like loses her mind.
And that's when the first episode ends.
Yeah. And it's the ominous music.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of ending on this cliffhanger that Michelle is lost alone in Disney World.
Right.
Which, do they really pay that off? Not really.
No, she gets found immediately in the next
She gets
episode.
found immediately and brought to a tea party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A tea party in what we're assuming is a photo op zone.
I think that it's multiple photo ops that they just put together.
A bunch of
to
flats,
kind of photograph like it's a big stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a mad tea party with all of these characters that are just kind of sitting around in character. For what? Like, are they just there for lost children to like comfort them?
Yeah.
Like have a tea party with us? Because they're all just like in character. Like
has Michelle died? I don't know.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, yes, Snow White is an employee of Disney World, but at no point does like
but I think
an authority figure
but I think
come
kind of
out
in the logic
say,
of the episode, she's the real Snow White.
I kind of think that you're right.
It's like she is the real Snow White.
I kind of think that that's
like
the idea.
she stepped in off of a cartoon. Oh,
Right.
and we have to talk about, speaking of time filler, is our little moment with Uncle Joey.
Oh boy.
With the animator.
Oh boy. Mark Henn, an actual Disney animator who has like 2 lines. That shit is wild.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, it's just like just a signature of all these episodes is that it's all just fucking wasting
nothing
time.
To do here.
We have nothing to do, and we can't even bother to write like a cohesive storyline for everything.
Yeah,
because we're just stringing this all together as we film it.
Yeah, yeah. Joey goes to the animation studios, which there were animation studios in Orlando. I think there still are.
I don't know about that.
Oh well, they were there. But he goes and he says he's got a friend. There, so we're to believe that Mark Henn,
and this feels very promotional video for the Disney Channel.
Like when you're in line to walk through the animation studios to see their cubicles, you'd see this like on a TV,
or not even that. Like it's just something that you would see just as a little special on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking up Mark Henn to see what
character animations he would do.
Yeah. Born 1958, animator and film director. So let's see. He served as lead animator for Ariel in Little Mermaid, Belle for Beauty and the Beast, Jasmine in Aladdin.
Wow, fierce. So he did all the Disney princesses.
He did all the fierce, little teeny waisted princesses. Jasmine, young Simba, and Mulan. In Mulan. And Tiana.
That's cool. What movies, what features has he directed?
Has he directed?
I'm assuming that they gave him a feature.
Let's take a look. Directorial debut. John Henry was a short in 2000. Early development of Lilo and Stitch. Oh god, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah.
So we did some work on Lilo and Stitch, probably.
Yeah.
With like story.
Okay, filmography. Here we go. Credits. Lead. All right, I'll just keep looking at it.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. So what are also the big arcs of this episode are Jesse and Aunt Becky.
Jesse and Becky
trying to rekindle their marriage,
but Jesse has to rehearse for this concert that he's giving on stage in front of the castle.
Yeah,
which would call for several rehearsals, at least one live rehearsal. And Becky's just like, rehearsal. What?
I thought this trip was just for us.
Yeah. He's like, sorry. Got to make some money.
They have their little moment in the Grand Floridian where he's playing the piano.
Yes. Yeah.
Thought that was very sweet.
There's also the moment where Jesse and Joey are doing their radio show from this submersible inside
I was
the
wondering
big
about the
aquarium.
That does it like sink to the bottom? Like, do you get it in and from the top and it just sinks to the
I
bottom?
would imagine so.
And then it just goes to
because
the top?
they're in it and there's air in it. So I don't think you could swim down into it, get inside of it, close it, and
you'd
then
have
pull all
to
the air
drop
out.
them in.
So it has to be submerged from the top. But the thing is, they're in scuba gear, so the idea is that they're going to get out and swim to the top. But it's an aquarium in a restaurant that's full of fish. And Joey's like, well, there's a shark out there. I can't get out. And then they fully do the scary Full House music.
Yeah.
Like Joey is like, no, that shark's going to eat me in this aquarium.
This teeny little shark.
Yeah.
So
that was another dramatic point.
Bob Saget's going to propose.
Danny's trying to
on
propose,
this trip.
and he keeps getting interrupted by just things.
Yeah, because they're in Epcot.
Incidentals.
Yeah. Just a few Epcot episodes. Also an episode where time is very gray.
Yeah.
I don't know how long they've been there.
Right. Oh, and then also DJ is seeing Steve everywhere, but it's not him.
It was kind of cute to see Steve dressed up as Aladdin.
Dressed as Aladdin with Scott Weinger, the voice of Aladdin. And then she sees him as Prince Charming with Cinderella, but then she'll call to him and he'll look and it's a different actor. 2
episodes that showcase the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Time waster again.
Yep.
Steve ultimately does show up. I think he took the bus there from San Francisco. He had to have
Maybe
flown.
he
It's too
borrowed
far.
his parents' credit card to put an entire room at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, because they see him at the
Check.
front desk at the Grand Floridian.
Checking in.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I mean, yeah, we get 2 episodes. There's a lot going on, but it's a lot of nonsense.
Yeah. Not my favorite episode of Full House, but I do like revisiting this one.
Yeah.
It just kind of ends with the concert.
Yes.
That probably they got everybody at Disney World to stay after hours to watch.
If you want to hang around,
Do you want to watch a
John
taping
Stamos
of Full House?
and his shitty band are going to play the Hippie Hippie Shake 5 times, and they're going to have to dance like you're hearing it for the first time. Because that's how they record those.
I do love on...
And then he sings When You Wish Upon a Star on the piano.
I do love on
cringeworthy.
GMA. I think The View does it more is when they do a Disney World episode of The View.
Yeah.
And whatever movie is coming out, they will have a pop girly sing the song out in front of the castle. I remember Demi Lovato did it for Frozen.
Okay.
For Let It Go.
Okay. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, The View always does a big... I mean, all the 80s.
There is a Christmas video of Miley Cyrus like destroying Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
You love that
And she's in
song.
front of the Disney World castle.
We watch that every year,
Yep.
every Christmas.
And she is like fucking like taking me to church with Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And that's shot at Disney World.
Yeah. Oh, my God. All right. Shall we go to our final showdown?
Yes, let's go to the final one.
Okay.
Oh no. I mean we have two more.
All right.
We'll kind of breeze through Family Matters because
Yeah.
I do have Family Matters in my notes.
And really not a lot goes on.
Not a lot goes on in Family Matters. And
Yeah.
we're just going to talk about Steve Urkel in this.
Yeah.
So Family Matters, Season 6, Episode 22, We're Going to Disney World. Episode air date, April 22nd, 1995.
All right. I mean, do we love Family Matters? I don't know.
I used to love watching Family Matters as a kid.
Yeah, it has its charms.
I mean, I feel like Steve Urkel, when you're 9 years old, it's peak comedy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And Jalil's kind of out there doing the Lord's work.
Okay, so I'll say this about the ABC sitcom themes. I don't know who this couple is. of this guy.
Yeah.
I think the Family Matters song is my favorite of all of them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
I
the
like
best
the
one.
I like the bridge
Yeah.
of it, or is it the chorus? I don't know.
The chorus.
The days go by.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite of them all.
All right. All right. Steve's girlfriend is in this.
Yes,
episode.
she has a lot of. See, I like that little hook.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve girlfriends get some funny moments in this.
Her
one.
bedroom with the Steve sheets and curtains and everything.
Yeah,
And the wallpaper.
that's
comedy.
That's a funny cutaway.
That's comedy right there.
That, the Family Matters knows when to deliver on the jokes. I
Yeah.
think that's why
Yeah.
I can appreciate Family Matters.
Yeah, for sure.
Family Matters has a very interesting backstory that it was a spin-off of
Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers, and then
was.
just kind of became
The Urkel Show.
the Urkel Show,
Yeah.
much to like the mom.
Yeah. Reginald Vell Johnson and Loretta. I forgot her name. But yeah, it was originally intended to kind of be a showcase for the parents, but to be a family show, kind of,
And also probably a ABC solution to the Cosby Show.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
kind of their answer to the Cosby Show, to have like a, working black family in the suburbs and all of that.
I
But-
used to think Laura Winslow was so pretty.
yeah, she is. She is. And, this episode is wild because...
I mean, what gets us to Disney World? Okay, so here's the thing about
Tell me
this,
what season
this one in
is.
particular. So this is season 6, episode 22.
Okay, they're
Aired
always
in
the end of the
95.
season.
Yeah, and you can always tell that they probably shot these in the winter because everybody is bundled up in Florida.
Yeah,
So it's probably shot in like January or February.
yeah. So Urkel wins a trip to demonstrate his transformation chamber.
I don't think that it's winning a trip like it's a convention.
Yeah, to show off his
It's an
trip.
inventors convention.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the character actor is that's hosting it.
Uh-huh.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Oh, it's Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, David Lander.
No, there's another one.
Oh, okay.
Of who's actually hosting. Who's actually hosting it?
Oh, okay. I don't see anybody credited for that.
Okay, so there's all of this drama with Steve and this invention that creates life. It creates a clone.
Yeah,
Is it a clone?
I would say a clone.
But a clone that comes out.
Stefan raises a lot of questions.
Is it kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde
yes.
situation?
It's,
Because
Nutty Professor.
But I don't even think that Stefan is like bad.
No, it's more Nutty Professor.
Yeah,
He's good, if anything. He's better than Steve.
but the Eddie Murphy, the handsome Eddie Murphy character in the
Was
Nutty
bad.
Professor is bad.
Right.
Like he's an asshole.
Right. Mm-hmm. Stefan's not.
Stefan's not.
He's smooth.
He's the one
fine.
that Laura likes.
Laura will marry Stefan Urkel.
And I like that there's kind of an existential dilemma with Laura
Yes.
of does she just get rid of Steve Urkel for good?
Yep.
Just take care of him?
Yep.
We have the better version.
She breaks the machine.
Mm-hmm. She breaks the
She
machine,
breaks
and
the
that's
machine.
why they have to extend the convention so we can get 2 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just Steve Urkel goes into this machine and comes out as Stefan
Urkel.
fully formed in clothes.
Yes.
So this machine can replicate clothing.
I mean, is that the biggest worry that we
Is
have
it the
that
same
can make clothes?
DNA? Do you think as Urkel?
Yes, I think it's like more of a mind adjustment than anything because he looks like Urkel. All he does is take his glasses off.
But like
They don't like
I love the logic
give
of
him
Family
like buck
Matters.
teeth or like fix his
I love the
nose or
logic of
anything.
Family Matters is that this is some crazy Gattaca shit. This is like a Philip K. Dick novel.
What are
but
the
show
implications?
but the show just treats it so casually.
What are the implications of this machine, this transformation booth that Steve has created? How can we weaponize this? How can
Yeah.
we use it to
Are we going to be creating super soldiers?
how can we use it to
Yeah.
fix people who who are paralyzed or have lost limbs or all
I'm
of
just,
these
I mean,
things.
I'm just thinking that the U.S. government just makes universal soldiers with it,
but
and
it's not
sends them to
making
war.
it double.
They're
'Cause
making
Steve is not.
They're making a better version of someone.
Yeah. So like Captain America's, they're just sure. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
it's a
Captain America
machine.
It's like Steve Rogers
Yeah,
becomes Captain America.
yeah.
Much like Urkel becoming Stefan.
Sure. Okay. So these are the use cases for Steve's transformation machine.
But I do like that. Like there are existential questions about his machine that like Steve is asking himself these questions.
Right.
Too.
Right.
I mean, I almost misremember it being that does Steve Urkel like have to shoot his other half like in the Prestige, but he doesn't actually make copies like in the
there's not
like
doubles.
in the Prestige.
There's not doubles.
There's
or
not
copies.
doubles.
Yeah.
But I like to just think of it's a very like Robot Chicken sketch.
Well, there's a famous
Steve having to kill
Stefan.
Stefan.
There's a famous Star Trek Voyager episode where Neelix and Tuvok are in a transporter accident and two characters get meshed into one and they create a new person. And throughout the episode, they're trying to figure out it's one person now. And he's like, well, I have a consciousness. I'm Tuvix now. I'm both of them. And the whole thing is that at the end of the episode, Janeway says, hey, did you fix it? You fixed it? Okay. Put him back in and split him apart again. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. You would be killing me if you do that. And she does it. And so there's this kind of running joke 25 years later that like Janeway killed this character on the show. And it really did that. It like created all these questions of like, well, but what about those two? Like they were individuals and now they're like this new thing. So like Stefan will marry Laura Winslow, but Steve has what's her name?
Yeah. Steve has his girlfriend. Myra.
And what about Myra? And that's the whole thing. When Myra
wakes up
in her
bedroom,
because
it's pretty funny.
Someone kissed Steve and she just knew it. That shit is hilarious. And
entire bedroom of just Steve Urkel.
Of Steve's face, just in the curtains and the bed sheets and everything. But that's the implication. Like Myra has a relationship with Steve.
And where is Steve during
that's the question.
All of this?
His is he dead?
Where is his consciousness?
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
I guess
deep
that
within Stefan's
I guess that this
mind.
This episode where the sitcom goes to Disney World is making us think like existential thoughts about the creation of life and cloning and the ethics of it
and altering your personality. Taking mood altering, medications and things.
So we mentioned before that just kind of the major bullet points of this episode because we have to go through this to get to our final boss of the Disney World episodes.
Yeah.
But they stay at the Fort Wilderness Lodge.
Yes.
Which I think would have been fairly new.
Yes, I believe
at the time.
So, yeah. Because that was the big hotel that's a part of Animal Kingdom, right?
No, I mean Animal Kingdom has its own place.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to stay at the cabins.
The cabins at Fort Wilderness look lovely.
They look awesome. I would love to stay there one day.
Yeah.
I don't really remember a lot of nonsense in the parks. I mean, I know that Carl is like skipping around to face characters too.
Yeah.
The grandma is like the grandma is ready to go to fucking Walt Disney World.
Yes. Granny's ready to go.
Ready to go.
Get on Space Mountain.
Get on Space Mountain. Yep.
She's another typical sitcom granny who's just like,
and she is dressed like an old lady too.
She's dressed like Minnie Pearl.
Old lady.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's just like Minnie Pearl with like cardigans with the one button at the top and like.
But yeah,
Thelma Harper
this episode
dresses
I don't remember a lot of outside of all of the stuff with
because
Stefan.
there's so much filler.
Yeah.
They're at that Epcot Center. Like
it's where the Coke store is.
Yeah.
now, I think.
But
I
there's
think
like that
they've-
weird sciencey ride that has like figment of the imagination, like all that weird
with
stuff.
the woman with the go-go boots.
Well, that's inside Spaceship Earth.
Oh, okay.
No, there's another thing. The ride with Figment.
Oh, I thought that was on Figment.
No,
Okay.
the black lady with the go-go boots is in Spaceship Earth.
Okay.
But yeah, like there's a lot of business with Eddie Winslow and Waldo Geraldo Faldo.
And they're driving there.
But they drive in the wrong direction. They're like in Canada because Family Matters is set in Chicago. They're from Chicago.
I am from Chicago. All right.
I'm just here to fight.
All right. Any kind of last reflections on Family Matters?
Yeah, I think it's the Steve and Stefan show.
It's always the fucking Steve Urkel show.
Yeah.
On Family Matters. But I mean, what we're really here to talk about tonight,
yes, indeed,
is I think Pete and I both agree that this is probably the best episode where a family goes to Disney World, but easily the worst episode of the series in general. It's the Disney World episode of Roseanne.
I would say you are correct. Best sitcom goes to Disney World, but worst episode of Roseanne.
From season 6, episode 17, the two were going to Disney World and Disney World War II, which I kind of love. Disney World War II. That's a good episode title.
No, that is a good episode title.
And this episode aired February 20th, 1996.
Yeah.
Okay, so the conceit of how they all end up at Disney World is that Dan is laid off.
Here we go. This is right. Yeah, Dan gets laid off from his city job. He got this really cushy job, not cushy job, but he got this really good job working with the city, and he was there for a long time. His department gets shut down. He gets laid off, and he gets a big severance check. So with the severance check, are they going to pay off other bills? We never get told how much it is.
I like that little moment of them.
Are we going to pay off all of our bills?
They pay off all their debt
and be debt free, or use it for something fun? And Roseanne decides we're going to take a trip.
Yeah, we're going to Disney World. We're bringing the whole family.
But I love the idea at first where she's like, "Let's go to Paris, let's go to London, or Italy, or Canada." And it's like, well,
wait a minute. There's a place that we can go to all of these places. Okay, so reasons why I think this is the more superior episode is I do like the first half feels more like an episode of Roseanne.
Right.
Like it feels like a proper episode of not a great episode of Roseanne, but it feels like a Roseanne episode where they're getting ready to go on a trip, and the second big like set piece is them on an airplane.
Right.
It's just you can see the Connors being pain in the asses on this like American Airlines flight to Orlando.
Yeah. And there's all the business of them like figuring out, we got to get plane tickets for all of us. We got to get hotel rooms. Like everybody has like a job of what they're going to do to get the trip.
What did you think of Roseanne's bit over the phone?
To cancel the tickets from someone else.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny.
It is definitely a joke from 1996
Yeah.
that you could not do now.
Yeah, for sure. But it's one of those sitcom things where kind of all reality is kind of out the window when it comes to things. Sure, you can
I also
cancel
like her
tickets.
I also like her doing her little I Dream a Genie thing over the schedule.
Yeah.
And it's Leon's
It's
problem.
Leon's problem now.
Also, I want a full episode of
Nancy at the adult animation festival.
the adult animation festival. I want an entire episode of that.
Or was it erotic cartoons?
Erotic cartoons. Yeah.
Well, Nancy can't fill in for us. She's at the erotic cartoon fest.
Like, I mean, that's one of those things about Roseanne is that, like, even though this is a stupid episode, they're still coming in with the jokes like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we get a good little joke at the beginning because this was the era when they were kind of switching back and forth between Becky's.
Between Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah Chalk and Lacey Goranson, the original Becky. And so they do a little bit in this episode when Becky walks in and it's Sarah Chalk. And they say the part of Becky will be played by Sarah Chalk in tonight's episode. And everybody freezes and they move forward because real Becky had come back.
Yeah.
So Sarah Chalk left, but now she's back again. And when she's back, Roseanne says, "Aren't you glad you're here this week?"
Okay, so this is also the show tiptoeing really into the ridiculousness
Yes, yeah.
of that. Roseanne famously had a crazy last season, and this is the second to last season?
Yeah.
And you're kind of seeing it here.
Yeah.
That maybe everybody involved is a little checked out. They're just kind of on autopilot.
We're getting Wacky Jackie.
Yep.
We're getting like Roseanne just kind of like level 10 Roseanne. Like,
Roseanne really being an asshole.
Yeah.
And the thing about, at least in the original seasons of Roseanne, she felt like more like a fleshed out person.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that in the later seasons at all.
Yeah, for sure. Darlene just really mean.
Yeah.
To everyone, even David, So yeah, it's bordering on the crazier end of things. But when it works, it works.
Yeah.
When they're on the plane and just annoying the hell out of everyone. There's some funny stuff.
So
there.
what are also some kind of shining moments of this episode that you enjoy?
I mean, both of them together. I love the stuff of them on the plane. That's great. I love the stuff of them planning the trip.
Nipsey Russell.
Airplane radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole family just thinking Nipsey Russell stand-up comedy is just hilarious.
Roseanne's mom saying, "I love guys like you have a niche in this business." So funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Bev is great. They do not explicitly kind of show. They show an exterior of the hotel, but it doesn't really look like
they're not
anything.
staying at any hotel in particular.
It doesn't look like
I could
even
see this one
property.
maybe there was probably some budget restraints of that. We're doing a Disney World episode, but we're maybe not pulling out all of the stops for season. I mean, what season of Roseanne? For season 6 of Roseanne.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be doing like an official hotel.
Yeah.
Too. The first episode will not even be at Disney World.
Right.
Too.
Right. They do a thing where they're having breakfast and they're all eating breakfast together and just like
it's very well. Also foreshadowing the Connors winning the lottery too.
Right. And the whole idea is that like we're poor, we're from the wrong side of the tracks, and now we're experiencing
and
luxury.
it's very like Beverly Hillbillies too.
Yeah. So they lean into that kind of stuff, but it's like ideally they should be having a character breakfast at the contemporary.
Yeah,
kind of a thing. They should be there eating at the buffet.
Also the audio quality
and all that.
But the contemporary would be garbage.
That's what I'm saying. These logistically, they can't do that. So they have like 4 round tables set up in their hotel room.
They have a park view.
Yeah.
What hotel do you hotel do you envision them being at?
I think this could even be like
the Swan and Dolphin.
The Swan and Dolphin, yeah. Like a Hilton, but
it's a nice Hilton.
But still kind of Disney adjacent, really close to the parks. But the whole thing is that like, some of the characters like this feels like this is expensive. And Dan's like, don't worry about it. It's covered.
Yeah.
So just like right off the bat, we're going to just eat out of the minibar and have room service brought up to the room by Eric Dane.
Eric Dane. Early appearance from Eric Dane. I always forget about that. I think that I'm always reminded Eric Dane is in this episode.
Yes.
When we watch it.
Yes. I love that they show rope drop.
Yeah.
Because this is something that unless you're like a real Disney person, they may not be aware that this is real.
I've never done a rope drop.
And in the 90s, I feel like it was a little bit more like you kind of go up to the thing and they open it and everybody just walks in. Like they were running. I think they run now. Like,
oh, yeah.
My brothers ran when we were kids.
You got to get in line for Rise of Resistance.
Yeah. Or Cars or whatever. I mean, we were there in those days. That was rope drop, but I feel like we just walked. Like when we did the Rise of the Resistance thing, we were there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar, you can go into Main Street and shop in the shops for about an hour before the park opens. And then they have like velvet ropes at the top of Main Street. And then at 8 a.m. or whenever the official time is, they drop the rope and you run into the park. In Anaheim, in Disneyland, the rope was at the beginning of Main Street, so you could really only go into the Emporium. My brothers knew that all the stores in Main Street
they would just
are
run down.
connected,
Yep.
and they would run through them and get to the front before everybody and go straight to Space Mountain. And we're talking, they're like 9 and 11 and like bolting through these stores alone. And my parents,
That's funny.
it's like, we'll meet you in line.
I mean, I mean, we mentioned space and time are out the window.
Yes.
That I love that they say beer garden, because that brings me back, is like
There's a beer garden here.
the Lewistown Fair beer garden, that you could only have alcohol in the
Yeah.
beer garden.
And was it
Also,
spelled with a T?
I don't remember.
Garten, like German spelling?
I think so.
Yeah.
But also, when I was back home for the fair last year, you could take alcohol outside of the beer gardens.
Work.
Shocking.
Work.
But
It's not even a beer garden. You could drink in
you
all
could
of
just,
Epcot.
You could just drink
everywhere.
all in all. And I just love Dan. Does he not leave Epcot?
He goes alone back to Epcot, which now he's fully in the Magic Kingdom park. He's got to go back down Main Street, out of the park, through the main transportation center hub, back onto a monorail.
At least he has the monorail, and he doesn't have to get on.
A bus. Yeah, a shuttle.
But yeah, I mean, he's drinking around the world.
Yeah.
He has this little cute scene with Roseanne where she's a French spy.
Yes, in Paris.
It's very a man named Flintstone.
Yeah, I like that he kind of goes to. So, okay, another thing that they do in these shows is that not only do they talk to characters, but they talk to just other cast members, people who are selling them beer, or people who work at the different various bars throughout the World Showcase. And they will talk to them, but these actors, air quotes, are not allowed to answer.
Yeah. And this one in particular, I think you can really see
There's a lot of John Goodman just talking to people, and they just smile
nodding.
and nod.
Yeah. In this one, you can really see that. Don't say anything. We have to cut you a
Gotta
check.
pay you if
We have
he's
to pay you.
talking.
Yeah.
You have no lines. You will be delivering this beer, and that's it.
All of the business with Roseanne and Jackie when they're looking at the castle.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny.
It is. Yeah.
It's with dropping the popcorn on the ground.
Yeah, and the guy sweeping it up.
Guy sweeping it up.
I mean, these were things that you always heard about Disneyland, like in the 90s and the 80s, of just like, it's so clean. And
the great customer service employees, they're really there for you. Yeah. And everywhere that you see is a trash can. I always remember that being a big thing. There is a really funny joke where Roseanne's looking at an old man, and she's like, this is one of those robots. Yeah.
Jackie says, not everything here is a robot.
They haven't used the word robot since like the 50s.
Yeah.
And then Roseanne says, excuse me, animatronic Americans. Americans. Solid joke right there.
It's a good joke. Animatronic American is a good joke. Yeah.
It's also a very Roseanne joke.
It is,
too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole thing, everything's a robot.
So we found that area of the park when we were there. I wanted to find it. I mean, it was pretty easy.
That vantage point.
The landscaping has been redone a little bit.
Changed,
It's not exactly like a one-to-one, but we found it though.
Yeah. Is it where we took that big zoom-in picture?
Yeah.
It has to be there.
It's like right there. So I mean, if you like Pixie Hollow or whatever is kind of off to the left a little bit, and then if you go directly right, you'll hit those rocket ships. In Tomorrowland. It's like right there. I mean, it's like a bigger version of Disneyland.
Our Disneyland,
and just huge. That always trips me out is just how massive Disney World is when you're walking
around. They got
around.
a lot of space out there.
Especially when you're familiar with something smaller like Disneyland. Just there's a lot of fucking space there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we pretty much just see the Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Yes.
So, and she says that they're there for 4 days, too.
Right. Good amount of time.
So when do you think that Darlene has her big moment with Winnie the Pooh? Was it day 1?
I think she's still in the same costume.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope that she got to enjoy the entire vacation.
Yeah.
After day 1.
Because she doesn't want to get on any rides. she's like out of it. She's like, no. And she's not letting David and DJ get on anything. Eventually, David and DJ just ditch her because they show them both on Dumbo and they get on Pirates and all that. But finally, when she's alone, she meets Winnie the Pooh character and, much like all these other shows, is talking to him like he's actually Winnie the Pooh.
I love that. I love that Darlene gets like a full arc.
Yeah.
In these episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Her character has like highs and lows.
Yeah.
She comes around. Yeah. Crazy.
Roseanne and Jackie's mom,
Bev.
Bev. She has her little moment with both of the children and babies that have since been written out of the show.
Yes, they are not back for the Connors.
They're not back for the Connors.
Little Jerry Garcia, Connor.
Her with them in like Toontown, entertaining all of the children with her like standards from like the 40s.
Yes, back when Tomorrowland featured, it was Duckburg at the time.
Oh, I just assumed that was.
It was Duckburg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from DuckTales.
Okay, so is it like that area when you... I mean...
It's where Mr. Toad is.
In Disneyland, okay. So I just assumed that... Well, when you said it was connected to Tomorrowland, I assumed that...
No, not Tomorrowland. I'm sorry. Fantasyland.
Oh, okay.
It's where before the revamp of Fantasyland.
I thought that...
You know how Fantasyland now has Snow White and they have it all...
Okay, so it was like
more
right there.
fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, that entire area has been like completely...
It's been completely redone. Yeah. At the time, it was... Duckburg,
but it was their little. It was their little area that's like Toontown.
But Fantasyland in Disney World always looked a little bit more circusy.
Yes,
like tents.
Well, there's no Toontown in Disney World actually because there's no Roger Rabbit.
They had Duckburg, but then they revamped it in the early 2000s or the 2010s to make it more fantasy-esque, and they put in the Snow White roller coaster, and then they made Mr. Toad there, and they just made the exteriors look a little bit more fairy tale.
I thought that Mr. Toad was just at Disneyland.
No, it was there, but now it's. I think they took it's. I think it's Winnie the Pooh now, where Mr. Toad used to be in Orlando.
Oh, interesting.
But it's where the outside queue for the Snow White roller coaster. It's across from that.
But yeah,
on the way to the Dumbo Circus area.
I like that. This back half when they're actually at Disney World, it's a little more vacation vibes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they kind of feel not really inclined to do these half-assed subplots.
Yeah,
that
they didn't have a lot of
really go nowhere.
Business of just
they don't really have a lot of
we're
business.
Here to do
like,
this. No, we're here on vacation.
Step by step, Family Matters, Boy Meets World. It's like they don't really bother to create these half-assed stories. It's just the Connors on vacation.
Yeah. Dan's just enjoying beer in every country, you know.
Which I think there's some kind of charm to something like that.
Yeah.
For a show like this.
Yeah. Darlene is finding her inner child.
That you just kind of experience a family vacation with them.
Yeah. DJ and David just get on rides.
Yeah.
Darlene finds her inner child. Becky and Mark just kind of have some dumb little business about Becky talking to the characters and Mark getting jealous, but you know,
Mark in his Daniel Boone hat.
Yes, Mark with a coonskin cap,
with his coonskin cap,
really cute. And then it just ends with them watching fireworks.
Yeah, the end.
Yeah, great.
Sometimes that's all that you need.
Yeah, just the family on vacation.
Like we mentioned, I think this is our favorite. All of these.
It's our favorite of the Disney episodes for sure. It's the most watchable.
It's the most watchable,
but still the worst episodes of
Okay,
Roseanne.
so do you think that this is the worst episode of Roseanne?
Well,
or is is it even a Halloween episode of the last season where they go to that it's like they become socialites and then they find themselves
and it's
in
the Rosemary's Baby
episode of Ab Fab and then it becomes Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Had they won the lottery at that point?
Yes.
Because all of a sudden they're like socialites.
That's why they're socialites, yeah.
And Roseanne is wearing backless dresses.
And that's where Jackie meets Jim Varney.
Yeah.
The prince.
The secret millionaire prince.
And he's trying to woo her.
Yeah. And then Ab-Fab's in there. Just because Roseanne...
She just loved him.
She just loved him and just wanted them in an episode.
Yep.
She just wanted to write them in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's final season is nuts. It's crazy.
We need to
there's the train heist episode.
Yeah, where they foil a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some.
I mean, we're kind of doing
stickers.
a low key Roseanne watch, or at least
We jump around.
I
but-
kind of am. Well,
yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of going in order.
Okay.
Of that, whenever we just put on an episode of Roseanne, I try to go
Yeah.
where we last were, and I think that we're in season 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love those early seasons.
Yeah,
Solid show.
Great.
Yeah.
A show that immediately got into its groove
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Knew the characters. The writers knew who the characters were, and the actors kind of just fell right into place.
Okay, so we mentioned a ranking of all of these.
Yeah.
So we can both agree Roseanne is the best.
Yeah.
Did you want to go from worst to best or best to worst?
Let's go best to worst, because I think next is probably going to be Full House.
I would say I would agree with you. I would say
Yeah.
Full House is probably going to be number 2.
Yeah.
And where do we go from there?
I guess Family Matters?
I would say Family Matters as well.
Yeah. And then now it's a real toss-up between Boy Meets World and Step by Step as the worst.
I would say, I don't know, this is hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nonsense in Step by Step that is just filler.
Yeah.
But at least is it maybe a little more ambitious than the Boy Meets World
That's
episode?
true. At least there's content, because the
At
Boy
least
Meets
there's
World
content,
just feels like
even
a
if
whole lot of
it's
nothing.
terrible content.
Yeah.
I feel like the Boy Meets World episode feels more like a missed opportunity.
Right.
That they couldn't even just settle on a school trip to Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I want to see the brother there.
Yeah. 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 There's missing characters.
I don't like that both of them like aren't with the group and they're just like sleeping at Disney World.
Yeah. Sean and Corey.
Like
are
they don't
just like-
even get to enjoy a vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm putting this last.
All right.
I'm putting Boy Meets World last
Fair.
for the missed opportunity
Fair enough.
with these characters wandering around Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did this one? I mean, I almost feel like Boy Meets World should have been more MGM focused.
Yeah.
Too?
I kind of agree.
Of that, if you were going to pick a park for them to walk around in and to
Yeah.
kind of showcase, I would probably have done that.
Yeah.
And especially at the time where maybe they wanted more traffic in the park to be there. Which one did they comment on the dinosaur that we watched?
Oh gosh.
Somebody comments on a dinosaur on that dinosaur.
But that's a. I think you're thinking of the Crookshank brothers. Because isn't the dinosaur at MGM Studios?
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the Crookshanks. We did just watch that one, and they went to the 50s diner.
Yeah.
That's right there. So that's the ranking. We tried to watch the other night, the Sabrina one. I kind of fell asleep during that
fell
one.
asleep
So
during
maybe
that
I should say that one's the worst because
Yeah.
I really felt not very invested with anything.
Yeah.
Are we missing any major sitcoms that go to Disney World?
I can't think of any. I think we
So
kind of hit them.
you said Modern Family did one,
Yes.
which I feel like
They
is
did.
also probably a I don't like Modern
Yeah.
Family as a show in general, but
Yeah.
I bet that episode's terrible.
Yeah. I don't really remember it, but I just know that they did it.
I mean, we mentioned the Blossom episode. And the Blossom episode had the band from the MMC in it.
Oh, it had the party.
Yeah, it had the party.
That's right.
And Blossom, they get to go on the sky buckets, too. So a little, I mean... at
I'm
least-
showing The Middle went. All these ABC shows, Modern
wanna
Family and Blackish.
I want to see the middle
I
episode.
want to see the middle episode.
I
love
bet
the middle.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing...
And it makes sense that the Blackish family would go.
Yeah, because that's another ABC show. Yeah, I think we covered. I think we covered them. Do the Goldbergs go? That's ABC.
I think that they would have had to have gone to Disney World.
Collider top 10 shows that took Disney vacations. There's the Goldbergs.
I bet the Goldbergs episode is really weird of how it's shot. because they can't do anything too contemporary since it's a show set in the 80s.
Sure. There's the middle accidentally goes to Disney World. Sabrina. The Sabrina one is fucking bad.
Yeah, the Sabrina one's not good.
Mama. Oof. Roseanne, Blackish, Goldbergs. Is it it's their vacation episode?
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like they're doing a National Lampoon's style
I kind of hate
episode.
that the Goldbergs just kind of devolved into just like we're parodying a movie now. Like just kind of like a Glee kind of a thing. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of everything.
Okay, well, we should probably wrap this up.
Yes, I think we should.
All right. This was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We talked about a lot.
We did. We got through a lot of shows.
I guess this episode might be coming a little late, but it's pretty supersized.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks for sticking around, everybody, because
yeah. All right.
It was a long one. But yeah, we'll be back. Thank you for patronizing.
Yes,
and,
thank you so much.
Yeah, as always, if you have any suggestions for TV shows that you want us to cover, let us know over on the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.